Hello everybody, this is mrcuberduck back with another video, and today I am reviewing the Dayan Stickerless Ridged Megaminx. So, this thing, it seems like it's a pretty good Megaminx in my opinion. I haven't tried many, I'll give you that, but you can flick it and the pieces will stay aligned. It corner cuts pretty well, but I say we should get straight in with a more detailed look at this. So I guess the best place to start is probably just with turning. I mean, does it turn? Yes, it does turn. All the sides turn, I can guarantee you that. So in that respect, it is a good puzzle. Now, Megaminxes are renowned for not having the best grip. I mean, if I take this MF8 one I've got, I can barely turn it at all. It just, although the actual turning is fine, it's just getting a grip on it is very hard, which is where these ridges come into play. If you look on the pieces, you should be able to see these ridges here on the corners, and those just help when you're flicking the piece. Your finger will find a grip on these ridges rather than just flying straight off, and that's actually really helpful. Now, the actual turning, this thing isn't lubed or modded at all. It just came out of the box brilliant in my opinion, so that's really good. The turning for smoothness it's not the smoothest thing, but it's still pretty smooth compared to Sheng Xiao's. It's not smooth really, but I mean compared to this, it's brilliant. So the corner cutting on this is actually very good for a Megaminx. You can see the pieces it's kind of like a Florian modded Megaminx, where basically they've sanded the edges down on the corners. That made no sense. They've sanded the corners down so that they're a bit more curved, and this allows for more corner cutting. Line to line it can do. Bit more than line to line it struggles, but line to line it can definitely do. And compared to my MF8 one here, line to line, not a hope. There, yeah, it can do about half the piece, but still, on a Megaminx, that's really good. Now, reverse corner cutting, yeah, it's not going to be doing much reverse corner cutting. You can see when I try and reverse corner cut, oh, it did some. Wow. But sometimes when I try and do it, this happens, and you start pulling it apart before it actually turns. But come to speak of it, it's actually doing about there. So you can see that it sometimes does it. I don't know. So it doesn't seem very consistent. Maybe if I try another side. Yeah, you see, it sometimes does it. I'm sure you'll be able to see that a bit better on YouTube than I can here. But yeah, so that's corner cutting. Now, one thing that's not often brought up in reviews is the actual weight and feel of the puzzle. This one, it's actually very heavy. In your hand, it feels bulky. If I compare it to the nearest cube, which is a Scube I've got here, this is still pretty heavy, but compared to the Megaminx, it's a lightweight. But this actually feels like a manageable weight. You can throw it around a bit, and it's just generally a good weight to play with, so it doesn't feel too bulky in your hands, and you can perform finger tricks on it. I'm pretty sure Megaminx finger tricks aren't really a thing, but you know. So for this section, I've actually just raised the camera angle a bit, and yes, that is a penguin back there. Yeah, there, that's a penguin. Don't ask. But this, I just want to show you some algorithms with it performing off the table, because the table often helps with Megaminx. But on this, I think off the table, it's actually even better. Now, I am in no means a speed Megaminx solver, but I can still perform algorithms on this. MF8, no, you basically have to use your wrist to turn it, and that makes it incredibly slow to turn, which is not what you want. So performing algorithms on this thing, not a problem. Now, in terms of whether you should choose stickerless or stickered, it's really your choice. If you're going to competitions, go for the stickered one, but if you're just staying at home, I would say the stickerless, because eventually these stickers will come off. I mean, they are MF8 stickers, so they're generally pretty high quality because they're pretty thick and they're not going to start peeling. but eventually they will start to peel. On here, we won't have that problem. I mean, this logo, that will come off, but I don't particularly like it anyway, so, you know, it's not really a problem. Now, Stickerless, I also think it looks pretty cool, but the colour scheme on the Stickerless isn't that fantastic. I actually much prefer this colour scheme on the stickered. If you look at the yellows, this is a much darker yellow, I suppose. It's a much, I mean, this is a circus yellow, and this is a serious yellow that you might incorporate into a house or something. And then let's compare reds again. This is just a childish red. It's like a pastel red, and this is an actual red you would choose to use somewhere. The greens, we have the dark green. Again, these just seem, on the Dayan, it just seems like the colours are much lighter, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but you might be, so I don't know. So I guess I'll show you the pieces in this thing. If I just take an edge and a corner, you can see it takes its inspiration from the Zanshi. Hopefully that will focus. Okay, don't focus on me then. But it does look a lot like a Zanshi piece. And the corner, it's got that long stalk and then the short thing holding it in place. And this also kind of has torpedoes. These bits on the end here, they act as a torpedo and keep it from popping. And that brings us on to popping. This thing has popped once in about 20 solves I've done on it, so that's not too bad. Now again, I'm not a Megaminx speed solver, so I'm probably not testing it to the absolute limit. But I solve about 3 minutes 40 at the moment, which isn't bad for a complete Megaminx novice. And considering it's all just F2L, I suck at F2L on the 3x3. I think that's a pretty good time. Right, now possibly the most important thing about any review is the actual price of the puzzle. Now depending on where you get it from, it can be more or less expensive. I actually purchased this from an online store in England. And because I'm in England, online stores tend to be much more expensive, because either I have to pay heaps and heaps for postage and packaging, or I have to buy from independent people who also have to pay heaps for their post and packaging, so that drives all the prices right up. So this cost me about, I think it was £17 or something, which would be about $30, and compared to what you can get it in America, this is probably $15 in America, and you get so much less shipping. So in terms of price, it's not that heavy, but it does depend on where you live. Now this MF8 one I've got here, I think this is still the version 1, so don't look at these as if, oh, do I get this one or do I get this one? It's really, this blew it out of the water, this Dayan Megaminx. Not sure about the Shengshao, maybe for another video. But this MF8 one, that was, if I remember, slightly more expensive. It does feel like it's got higher quality and that it's been put together more professionally, I suppose, because all the pieces, they really hug each other, and it's a perfect dodecahedron. They never come out of alignment. It feels heavy, so it's made out of good plastic, but that's not necessarily wanting speed cubing. Yes, you want good quality, but not necessarily the things that come along with good quality. So I think that's the end of my review. This is the first review that hasn't been of a 3x3 on this channel, so forgive me if I haven't been amazing at it, but I'm still learning. I would really appreciate it if you just dropped a like and a comment down in the comment section below, and I'll leave you with some spinning Megaminxes.